I'm not going to go over nothing that I haven't already covered. I did mention in, I think it was session 2, that I would demonstrate Commander. So the first thing I'm going to do, little cheat or little snippet for you here, is I'm going to go turn on Do Not Disturb, or one of my focuses that I have.
Application.
That
Display. Sound.
can't nobody interrupt me. So to get to the control center on the Mac is VO keys and Shift and the letter O.
Audio
I'm
hijack.
going to go up to the top.
Selected. Wi-Fi. Toggle button.
There's my Wi-Fi.
Focus. Toggle
Here's
button.
my focus, where I'm going to do the actions menu, or the actions option, which is VO, command, and the space bar.
Actions menu. Show details.
I'm going to hit show details
Show details. Toggle button.
because I want to pick the one that I want.
Do not disturb. Toggle button. For 1 hour. Until tomorrow. Until the end of this event. Studio time. Toggle button.
Mine is called studio time. That means nobody can bother me.
Selected.
Because everything
Focus
will be
on.
muted.
Do not disturb.
To get out of it, you hit escape.
Finder. Desktop.
As y'all know by now, I'm lazy. I have voiceover utilities in a commander, so that's what I'm going to use. And I will demonstrate on how to create a commander. I will try to go slow, and I will try to point out details. I'm not as brilliant as John, so sometimes I forget that I'm not the only one listening. So we're going to VO. What is this? Option V is my VO commander.
Voiceover utility. Voiceover utility. Window. Utility categories. Row 1 of 11. General. Selected. Has keyboard focus.
Alright, as you see, it drops you right into the first category, which is general. I'm just going to hit the letter C for commander.
Commanders.
Now, all I got to do now is VO right arrow, because I have to go to the keyboard commander, because I think by default it's on the numpad commander.
Numpad. Selected. Tab.
It
1 of 3.
is.
Keyboard. Tab. 2. Selected. Quick nav. Tab. 3.
There's also a quick nav commander. I haven't been in there in ages, so I couldn't tell you what's in there, but I think there's an option for you to have quick nav turn automatically on when you do certain things. I haven't been in there because my settings are pretty much the way that I wanted them for like the last at least 6 or 7 years. I go in and tweak them, but I don't change much. So
Well, the only cool thing about the quick nav commander is if you use single key quick navigation, you can actually add additional. So like H for heading, T for table. So for example, I've done W and shifted W for window spot.
oh, okay. So
So
you can
that's
add
the
you can
one.
add little tidbits in there for that then?
Yeah, so you can add like if you wanted to add your own single key navigation commands to it.
Speaking of single key navigation, because the Safari, well, anywhere on the web, I don't know if Chrome does it because I don't use Chrome very often, probably once every year. But anyway, when you go into form fields on Safari, quick nav cannot be on, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to reach across and do VO keys and the letter Q to toggle it on and off. So I've actually set a commander for that and use option and the accent key to turn it on and off, because my hands don't have to move in the position that they're in to turn single letter navigation
Boy,
on
you
and
are the
off.
epitome of laziness, sir.
Hey, it's called exercising your resources. So let's go over to this table.
Checked. Enable keyboard commander. Checkbox.
Now, that checkbox has to be checked in order for you to use keyboard commander. If you want to be lazy like me and don't want to come in here and turn it on, you can do VO, Shift, and the letter K, and it will toggle keyboard commander on and off. There's an app that I use by Rogue Amoeba called Fargo. It's my soundboard app, and that has a world of options to use, but the problem is you have to use the option key with them. So when I'm in that app, I actually turn off keyboard commander, and I'm glad that we have this on the fly toggle that we can use, because it would be a pain to have to go to voiceover utilities, turn it off, and then go back in there and turn it back on. So I'm glad that they implemented that little shortcut to be able to do that.
Use. Right option key. Use.
Now, you can use the right option key, you can use the left option key, or you can use both. I've heard having both selected doesn't do anything. Some people have. John, what do you think? Do you use both, or do you just use
No,
the
I
right?
just use the right. I know that they have that choice because, like, for people who are using foreign language keyboards, you can use either of the option keys in combination with the letters and such for, accents and umlauts and stuff like that. So, but I haven't really I just keep it on right option.
Yeah, I've never used both. I've heard that having both selected doesn't do anything. It doesn't bother me because I mainly use everything with my right hand anyway. So,
Yeah.
Keyboard commander.
all right, now here's my table. It didn't say it, but because I have that one turned off, but let's see what VoiceOver Hint says.
You are currently on a table. To enter this table, press Control, Option, Shift, down arrow.
And that little tidbit shortcut is VO, Shift, and the letter N if you don't have your hints turned on, or if you just have on a delay like I do. So if I sat here for another 5 seconds, VoiceOver would have said that, but I went ahead and let him read it anyways.
This item has no help tag.
Now help tag is VO Shift H for those who don't know, or maybe I didn't mention it in one of the recordings. So let's interact with this table. By now you know that's VO Shift down arrow.
In Keyboard Commander, row 1 of 49, exclamation mark, decrease volume, selected, exclamation mark.
Well, he just told you what my first commander was. So I have one in here that I need to delete and make something else, because originally I had jump to next element, or VOJ as it's more commonly known as. I had it as option key and the letter F. I find myself not even using it that much anymore, so I actually deleted it. So now I can make FaceTime my option F. So let's find the letter F.
Num cap here / 1 2 3 4 cap G cap F. Open application. FaceTime.
Alright, so right here I'm going to remove it. So it's highlighted, or it's selected, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to stop interacting with the table.
Add.
I don't want to add.
Remove.
I'm going to remove it first.
In alert, cancel. Are you sure you want to delete the command for the F key? Delete. Remove.
Okay, so I've removed it. Of course, it doesn't give you any kind of confirmation. You just go back to the table.
Add. Keyboard Commander. Int cap G. Cap E.
And so the F is gone. So now we're going to go back over to the add.
Add of keyboard add.
You hit DO spacebar.
Edit text.
Oh,
Blank.
there we go.
There you go.
That's what it's supposed to do. So it said edit text, and now here I picked the letter, or it doesn't even have to be a letter. It can be a number. It could be a bracket. It could be the any key you want it to be, as long as it's on your keyboard, except for the shift and control. It can't be none of the bottom row, the command, option, control. It can't be none of those keys, or the caps lock key. But anything that you can write, it can be 1 through 9, or 0, dash, plus, equals, accent, as I've been using. And you can also use a capital letter, or symbols like the exclamation, number sign, all those. You can have a world of options here. So I'm just going to select the letter F. It's
F.
not gonna, well, I didn't think it was going to say it, but it did. So then I go over here to
Menu button.
the menu button.
Menu.
Now there's a lot of options in here.
General. Information. Navigation. Text. Web. Find.
These are the categories you can choose from. I know what I want, so I'm going to go all the way to the bottom where it says
Custom commands.
It says custom command.
Custom commands. Open application ellipsis.
And VoiceOver is so smart, he already knew what I wanted to do, so it says open application, because that's exactly what I wanted to do.
In open list view.
And now I'm in the list view, because I don't use column view, so I'm going to interact here.
In photo plus application.
We're going to try to use first letter navigation.
FaceTime application.
And how about that? And I hit enter or VO spacebar.
F. Edit text.
Now the key here is to VO right arrow away from here.
Open application. Cap G. Open application. F. Add of keyboard. Add. Remove. Add. Keyboard Commander. Row 15 of 49. F. Open application. FaceTime. Selected.
Alright, so it's there. Because I don't even know if you have to do that. I just do it to make sure that it's saved, because there's no save or done button. So what I do, and what John said he does, is VO away from it and then come back to it to make sure it's there. Alright, I don't want to have one for J, so let's go ahead and act like we're going to add one
Add
for
of
J.
keyboard. Add. Edit text. Blank.
Alright, so I'm going to hit the letter J, and then I'm going to go over here
Menu button.
and show you all the options that you really have that you can select from. So
Menu. General.
And I actually had to go into this general one, because
General.
I didn't know where the single letter navigation was. I thought it was going to be under a category called web, but it was actually in here all the way at the bottom. But listen to all the options you have to make commanders for.
Add pronunciation. Audio graph scrub left. Audio graph scrub right. Bring window to front. Click mouse. Close window. Describe position of window. Describe size of window. Double click mouse. Drop marked item after drop marked item after voiceover cursor.
So that's, this is just scratching the surface.
Menu. General.
Because that's general.
Information.
This is information.
Information. Describe item in mouse pointer. Describe item in voiceover cursor. Describe item with keyboard focus.
Half the stuff I didn't know even existed.
Describe mouse pointer location from top. Describe mouse pointer location from top left of window. Menu. Information. Navigation.
Then we have navigation.
Navigation. Go down one page. Go left a bit. Go left one page. Go right a bit. Go right one page. Go to beginning. Menu. Navigation. Text.
Then you have text.
Text. Read current character phonetically. Read current line. Read current paragraph. Read current sentence.
And mind you, all these navigation and all these categories per se already have a command. It's just giving you the option to customize them the way that you like them.
Menu. Tech web.
Then here's the web. This is where I thought single letter navigation was going to go. So let's see what's in here.
Web. Always allow keyboard commands to navigate websites. Find next button. Find next checkbox. Find next column. Find next frame. Find next landmark. Find the next live region. Find the next radio group. Find next text field. Find previous button. Find previous checkbox. Find previous column.
And again, all these already have shortcut keys, for lack of a better term. But this is just, again, a way for you to customize the way that you want to navigate your system.
Menu. Web. Find. Tables. Size and position. Audio.
Man, there's so much in here.
Brill. Audio.
Let's see what's in audio.
Audio docking toggle. Copy last phrase to clipboard.
That actually might be a good one to make it, because who wants to do VO shifts C all the time? Because you literally have to reach across the keyboard to do that. So.
Reach across like you're reaching a mile.
I'm just saying that's just less keys to push. So
Decrease system volume.
What do you have, a massive keyboard like
I have an extended keyboard. It ain't the Apple one. It's the Logitech one where I can pair 3 devices. But yeah.
Mute sound toggle.
I actually have one for this already, mute sound toggle, because sometimes this is, oh my goodness. It's just,
mute voiceover toggle.
Actually, no, it's the mute voiceover toggle is what it is.
Pause or resume speaking. Repeat last phrase. Save last phrase to desktop as audio
you can
file.
See, there's a lot of stuff that you can make a commander.
Menu. Audio.
So.
Menu button. Out of keyboard.
To review voiceover utilities, C for the commanders, make sure
Add.
You're on the keyboard commander or for whatever commanders you want to modify. If you like the numpad commander, which I never use because I've actually never explored. I can't say that I don't have the need for it. I've just never done it. And there's also the quick navigation, as John talked about, where you can set little snippets in there. So that is how you create a keyboard commander. One thing I did teach in yesterday's lesson, if anybody listened to it, I did teach you how to remove stuff from the dock, but I didn't teach you how to put stuff on the dock. It's actually a pretty simple process. You go to your applications folder.
Applications. List view image capture application.
And I don't have nothing on my dock, so I'm just going to pick anything.
Pages application.
Yeah, how about pages? And I'm going to push Control, Shift, and the Command key, and it says
add to dock.
That's just pretty simple. If you want to add something to your dock because you want to get to it quicker, and not be like me and make a commander for everything under the sun, then you just come to the applications folder and you push, again, Control, Shift, Command, and the letter T, and it will add that that application to your dock. Again, to remove it from your dock, you go to the dock, VO Shift M, which is the context menu, go down to Options, and select Remove from dock. That's a pretty straightforward process. I really don't remember
Desktop.
Everything that I've gone over. It's been pretty much a little bit of introduction. Next session, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, as John would call it. I think we're going to hit mail, messages, and possibly Safari, depending on how long those lessons are. Now, John has already done these in his Mac for the Blind courses. But again, I'm going to remind you, John is a detailed, specific, get down into the nitty-gritty, walk you through type of guy. I'm the one that's going to drive by and show you. So it's going to be a quick hit. I'm going to give you little snippets here and there. I'm going to highlight the things that I like to do and show you how to do. If you want the detailed stuff, go to the Mac4theblind.com website. Either pay for the courses or subscribe to his podcast, which is Mac for the Blind, on any of your podcasting platforms. Let me jump into Safari because we did introduce that in session 2.
Safari, untitled window, web 90% loaded. Amazon.
Be quiet and don't judge me. Amazon is my homepage. Anyway.
That speaks volumes, sir.
Hey, I buy everything on Amazon except food. But as I've stated, you can turn Quick Nav on and off by pushing left and right arrows in and out.
Arrow key quick
Or
nav off.
together, I
Skip
should
to main
say.
content. Arrow key quick nav on.
And again, I like to use single key navigation, so I leave Quick Nav on. The only time that I have to turn it off is when I want to write into a text field, and you actually have to turn Quick Nav off and single letter navigation off in order to write your text in that field. Otherwise, VoiceOver is going to think you're trying to jump to a heading, a table, a checkbox, whatever the letter may be. But since I went over that already, we're going to jump into the settings a little bit because I want to point a few things out to you.
General.
All right, we're already in General. General is where you would go to set your home page.
Toolbar.
But before you even get to your home page,
Safari opens with a new window.
Safari opens with a new window. Now, there are some choices here. Let's see what they are because I don't remember.
Menu. Check mark. A new private window.
A new private window.
All windows from last session.
I don't know why anybody would want to do that, but all windows from private session.
All non-private windows from last session. All non-private windows from last session. A new window. Safari opens with.
I joke about why would you want to open all your windows from last private session, but there are people who have tab groups that I haven't even tackled yet. Have you taught that, John? Tab groups on Safari?
I don't use them.
Okay.
I don't personally use them, but
New windows open with home page.
I'm
New
very
windows.
simple when it comes to.
Yeah.
I use them on the iPad. I find them to be very, very useful, but I've not really done anything with them on the Mac.
Matt, you would always want to one up somebody, wouldn't you?
Well, not necessarily, but definitely you. Definitely you. Yeah.
Oh yes.
So you can have it open with your home page.
Menu. Check start page.
Your start page.
Start page. Check empty page.
Or empty page.
Same page.
Or the same page.
Tabs for favorites.
Tabs for favorites.
Choose tabs folder ellipsis.
And then here you can choose your tab favorites Matt was just talking about.
Choose tabs folder
Now,
ellipsis.
Matt, I know
Home.
you do it on the iPad, but I'm assuming it's probably pretty much the same with the Mac. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those tab groups?
So the idea behind the tab groups is that you can organize tabs or groups of tabs around a specific project or a specific topic. You know, a tab is just basically one part of a window that you can have a website open in. So you might open a website like your Google search in one tab, and then you might open another tab and, visit apple.com or something like that. But you can create groups of tabs around specific topics. So, for example, if I'm planning a trip, like last year, our family went to Disney World. And so I created a Disney trip tab group. And in it were all the websites that related to our trip to Disney World. Delta Airlines, website with our hotel, the Disney World website, with part that took us directly to our Disney hotel or other parts of Disney World. And then even some other websites that, were like blogs about traveling to Disney and tips and all those sorts of things. And then what you can do is you can bookmark the entire tab group, or you can just leave it as is, but you can come back to it anytime. So I've got, different tab groups, one for technology, one for a certain trip that we might take, those kinds of things. And then they have all the websites that you have visited and any more that you want to visit. If hey, I want to do some work on planning for this trip, then I would specifically jump to that tab group before opening another website. Or if I forget and I open the website first, I can also move it to that tab group at any time. The other thing you can do with these tab groups, and I believe this works on Mac OS as well as on the iPad, is that tab groups are now collaborative. So I can choose to join other people if they invite me, or I can invite other people to join me. And again, a trip is a great example of a time you might want to do this. Another example that we've used is like when you're shopping. Maybe, you and your family are shopping for a new appliance or a new piece of furniture, and you're looking at different websites. So you create a tab group specific to that potential purchase with all the different websites that, product reviews and comparisons and what have you. But you want to share that with your spouse, your kids, your parents, whatever, or coworkers. And so you can collaboratively share an entire tab group, and each person can add websites to it. And you can even start a FaceTime call right from that tab group, so that the two of you or three, four of you, however many, can collaborate over that tab group as well.
Well said.
That is pretty neat.
I'm about to say, I mean, I know you use the iPad. On the Mac, I think you can actually assign those tab groups to Command 1 through 9 and jump to them, or you may have to go into the toolbar and pick one and then use Command Accent to cycle between them in this single window. And that sounds about right?
I think that's probably true. Like I said, I've
I'll
never
have to play with that a little bit.
Yeah.
New
No,
tabs
it's
open
got me
with.
interested.
Right. I might even take a look
Yeah.
at them, because I have, a news tabs that I go to, and I have, Apple news and blogs in certain favorites. But if I had a tab group, they wouldn't all take up the favorites. So, so next we have
New tabs open with. Homepage. New tabs open with.
And again, you have choices here. And this is basically saying if you open up a new tab, which sometimes I open up 2 or 3 to cycle between them, you can have the new page open up with your home page.
Menu. Start page. Start page. Checkmark. Empty page. Same page. Same page.
So same
Home
choices
page.
here.
New.
Now let's define the start page. The start page is basically a blank, empty page where you can just, type the website where you want to go, or you can have a home page like I do, or you can have it automatically open up in your favorites or your history, whatever you choose. So the start page, I always change it to my home page, but some people like a blank page to be opened up when they open up Safari.
Home page. http:// set to current page home page. Remove history items. After 1 week, remove.
So this is where you can have your history items be automatically removed. I have mine set on a week. Your choices are a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, and I think never.
Start page favorites. Favorites. Start page favorites.
So that's what I was just talking about. The start page, you can have your favorites, your history, or let me see what else is in
Menu.
here.
Check mark. Favorite. Tab group favorites.
Tab group favorites. There you go, Matt.
Blog stuff.
Or
True Crew.
I could actually pick one of my folders for it to open up in, because these are my favorite, my bookmark folders.
Work links.
Yep. So those are my
Favorites.
Those are my bookmark folders.
File download location. Downloads. File download location.
Now this is an interesting one, because this is when you download files, it automatically selects downloads. Now you hear downloads for mine, but that's actually not the downloads folder on my Mac. That's my downloads folder in my iCloud drive, because sometimes I download stuff from my phone, and sometimes I download stuff from my Mac, but I ultimately want them all to be in the same folder so I don't have to go hunting for them or be stuck like John was a couple of years ago when he thought he had something in his iCloud drive and he left it on his Mac desktop and he couldn't get to it. So
You're never going to let me forget that, are you?
of course
and
not.
I've done the same thing, Cliff. I have everything downloading to iCloud, and on iOS and iPad OS, it's a little bit clearer when you look at the choices. One, I think actually, now it's been a while, so don't hold me to this, but the last time I looked, I'm pretty sure it said, when you looked on like your iPhone or iPad under download location, under your Safari settings, it actually said like iCloud or on my iPad or something like that.
Yeah, it says
Whereas,
iCloud, and then it tells you the name of the folder that you selected. The
Right.
only reason I know is because I was just in there yesterday. So.
Oh, okay. But on the Mac, as you heard, it's just going to say the name of the folder. It's not going to tell you where that's located. So if you're a new Mac user, your default is going to say downloads, but it's going to be the local downloads in what Apple calls your home folder. If you want to change that to iCloud, you have to click that pop-up and you have to choose other, and then you have to point to iCloud Drive and whatever folder you want. And in both Cliff's and my case, we have a downloads folder in iCloud Drive because it's also where we download our iPhone and iPad stuff.
What about you, John? You do locally
Yeah,
or do
no,
iCloud
I
Drive?
use the iCloud downloads. Yeah.
Okay.
Remove download list items. After 1 day, remove download list items.
This is a little bit misleading because Mine is set on one day, but I guarantee you, if I go into my downloads folder right now, there's probably something there from last week.
Well,
So
what that's actually doing is so to be very, very clear with everybody, that is not going to automatically delete items from your downloads
that just
folder.
takes it from the list in Safari, right?
It takes it from the list in Safari, exactly. When you download something, there'll be a little like a pop-up in the toolbar that says downloads, and I think it even tells you how many there are on the Mac.
It does,
But
and it actually tells you what size they are, and if there's a download in progress, you can interact with it and see how much time is left.
I think you can use Option Command L to open that window. Yeah.
Yep, you sure can.
Yeah. And so that's going to be the thing that gets removed after a day. Not if you don't have to worry about, I downloaded this and I want to keep it. Do I have to disable that setting? No, the files themselves will not go away. It's just their references in Safari will disappear after the specified time.
Checked. Open. Save files after downloading. Checkbox. Save files include movies, pictures, sounds, text documents, and archives.
And that's assuming that you're on a trusted website. You're downloading movies or TV shows. I don't know how that works. I think Prime allows you with a certain type of membership. Who else does? Paramount Plus. If you have the one with Showtime, they allow you to download movies directly to your device. So that means basically saying that you can download those items as long as they're a trusted source.
Help.
And that's the end. So let's go back over to the toolbar. I have a commander for it, but,
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But, there's multiple ways you can get there, John. It's a VO function left arrow, right? If you have a Magic Keyboard.
Yeah, well, to get to the toolbar?
Yeah, to get to the top. Or you can
also do
Command F5, right?
Yeah, or you can do Control F5.
Control F5, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Mac OS shortcut.
Yep, I just went over that yesterday. I don't even know why I didn't know that. So, let's see. Let me try it on my keyboard, see if it works.
General.
It sure did.
There you go.
It didn't even. I didn't even have to interact. It just put me in the toolbar too. So
Tabs.
That's a nice little shortcut. Tabs. We've already talked about that, so we're not going to go into that one.
Autofill.
Autofill. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you're on the forum and you want to autofill your address, phone number, name, address, whatever, make sure Quick Nav is off. Single letter navigation does not have to be off for this, but if Quick Nav is off and you hit the down arrow, it will autofill, and if it doesn't, you can do Command Shift A on Safari. Now remember, if you're in Finder, that's going to take you to the Applications folder, but if you do Command Shift A on Safari, it will activate the autofill feature.
Passwords.
Passwords, pretty self-explanatory. Everything you save in Keychain. If I hit the spacebar here, it's going to ask me for my password, and then show me all the passwords I have saved.
Search.
Search, pretty self-explanatory. You go in there and you search for something on the web and, look for your results.
Security.
Security, I guess we can visit this one.
Security selected.
Let's see what
Out
we
of
have
toolbar.
here.
Fraudulent sites. Checked. Warn when visiting a fraudulent website. Fraudulent sites. Checkbox.
Yeah, VoiceOver can do all the work here. I don't even have to say anything.
Web content. Checked. Enable JavaScript. Checkbox. Help.
What's JavaScript, John?
That's what you should. I mean, there's a lot of controversy over whether you want to allow JavaScripts to work or not, because sometimes the applets can be used for nefarious purposes. But other times it's useful. So, but I don't know. I've read like two different sort of versions of whether you should check that box or not. So I don't really know what the answer is.
What do you think, Matt? Have you heard anything about either way?
It's been a long time since I've even heard anything about that. And, I kind of have just left it alone. I think that the bigger thing is to use common sense about what you visit. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's I think finding the balance, right? But, at the end of the day, probably odds are nobody's going to randomly select you to win $100,000. Odds are that you don't have a long lost nephew in Africa who needs $50,000 for a kidney transplant. Odds are these things just don't happen, and they're probably scams. If you avoid those things, you're more than likely going to be okay.
General.
I'm gonna start using the shortcut. I like that, not having to interact. So what I'm talking about, people, is the Control F5 shortcut that John talked about to go to the toolbar. Not only does it take you back to the toolbar, but it automatically puts you in the toolbar, so you don't have to interact with it. So
Tabs. Autofill. Passwords. Search. Security. Privacy. Websites.
all right, websites. This is an interesting one because it doesn't tell you what it. I mean, there's different categories here. So let me just
Website selected. Add preferences. Row 2 of 13. Reader. Selected.
So this is basically where you would set your preferences for the website. So if you want reader mode, I think you could set audio to start and stop, which is the only thing I usually come in here for.
In prefer general.
There's a general. Let me see what's
Add
over here.
automatically use website settings for read. Automatically use reader on the websites below. Website settings for reader. Remove. When visiting other websites. Off. Checked. Share across devices. Checkbox. Help.
Yeah, see, I don't have nothing in there, so let's go back over here.
Toolbar. Preferences.
What's the
Row
second
in preference.
option?
Content blockers.
Content blockers, pretty self-explanatory.
Autoplay.
Autoplay. This is the one when I I turn off because I don't want everything autoplaying when I go to a website that has media or whatever on it. So
Page zoom.
page zoom. This is for people who have low vision that want to make the screen bigger.
Camera.
Camera, pretty self-explanatory.
Microphone.
Microphone, same thing. You just give sites like Google Meet or Zoom or whatever permission if you're on the web interface.
Screen sharing.
Pretty self-explanatory. You got to give permission there.
Location.
Location. You'll get that pop up every now and again where it's asking you if you want to remember for a day. Don't ask you again, this, that, and the other, depending on what you're searching for, what website you're going to.
Downloads.
Downloads, we've already went over that.
Notifications.
And notifications. There are some websites that
Pop-up windows.
that used to do this, like Mac Rumors and Apple Insider. I haven't seen it in a while, but basically they have a option on the bottom of their page where you can have their notifications get pushed to your notification center automatically. But again, I haven't seen that in a couple of years. Kind of irritated me a little bit because I like those push notifications on my Mac. So pop-ups, if you have your pop-up blocker on and you go to a website that needs that disabled, it's going to ask you if you want to do it just for this website, or you can put safe websites in there.
Lockdown mode.
Tell us a little bit about lockdown mode, John.
That's if you are suspicious that somebody is trying to hack you. It's not something to take lightly because it really does lock down a lot of your ability to contact the internet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You want to really, and I will be honest with you, I don't even remember because I read it a long time ago, decided it was not for me and probably not for anybody I know, and just kind
if
of
you're a politician or a
Right.
celebrity and you think somebody's trying to, I mean, that's one thing, but I don't think the average person.
No, and
I'm not
that's
that
what
famous.
that's
No.
what it's touted for, John. If you read Apple's information about that, it talks about like if you are someone whose line of work, like a journalist or a politician or something, puts them at enhanced or increased risk. But as you said, that really, really locks down. I mean, the number of things that are disabled it's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it's a substantial thing to do, so that's why you shouldn't really take it. If you just have, the problem is there are people out there that are paranoid and they think
Yeah.
that they are being targeted. I worked with a couple of clients, believe me.
Yeah.
Lockdown mode.
Yep, and that's the last one in this category.
Out of
So,
preferences.
back to this my new favorite shortcut, which is the toolbar one. Where did it go?
Toolbar.
No, you didn't. Oh,
In toolbar.
I was already over there. That's why.
Profiles.
Profiles. Now, this is an interesting one. This is probably not for me, John, or Matt, because we are the only ones who use our computer. But you can have different profiles. Well, actually, I guess because you can have a privacy profile and then a public one, right? Where you browse
you can
differently.
actually do this for one person or multiple people, and this is also available on iPad and iPhone. So you don't have any profiles unless you enable the feature, and then it creates a I forget what they call it. I think maybe they call it personal or something like that. It just creates one profile, but then it allows you to create additional ones. And again, it's sort of another way, kind of like tab groups, but maybe a little more aggressive. in that, let's say that I use my computer both for work and home. So I can create a work profile for Safari that's only going to show my work-related bookmarks, my work-related tabs, a work-related start page, that kind of thing. And then when I go home, I can switch to a personal profile. I can
and it's across the board, right? So it's on Mac and iOS.
It's iCloud, so it's synced across. Yes.
Okay.
Extensions. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Extensions. Yeah. This is where you would enable extensions. I used to use 1Password before iCloud or before Keychain became so much more intuitive, and this is where I would have to enable that extension. There's also a Capital One price cut app that I use, where if I go to a website and there's a deal on it, the Capital One app will tell me, look, you can save $5 if you use this, then whatever. This is an extension where you would do that at. Advanced, I really don't remember what's in here. Do you remember, John?
Advanced.
The only thing I remember was of people who like to use the tab key, like in Windows. I think there was a checkbox in there. Unless they've removed it, I haven't looked in there.
Advanced selected.
All right, let's take a look.
Smart search field.
Smart search field.
Unchecked. Show full website address. Checkbox.
I don't need I guess.
Accessibility.
Unchecked.
Never use font sizes smaller than. Checkbox.
Well, looks like this is visual stuff.
9. Never use font size. Unchecked. Press tab to highlight each item on a web page. Checkbox.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember from that.
Okay.
Option tab highlights each item. Checked. Show color and compact tab bar. Checkbox. Privacy. Checked. Use advanced tracking and fingerprinting protection. Checkbox. In private browsing. Checked. Allow websites to check for Apple Pay and Apple Card. Checkbox. Safari allows you to make purchases on the web using Apple Pay and Apple Card with Touch ID on this Mac. Checked. Allow privacy-preserving measurement of ad effectiveness. Checkbox. Unchecked. Block all cookies. Checkbox. Reading list. Unchecked. Save articles for offline reading automatically. Checkbox. Style sheet.
So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here that you could check.
No, they added a lot.
It's, at your discretion. Like Matt said, just use good judgment, and you should be okay. But again, that's your system preferences, or your Safari preferences, I should say. Something that me and Matt didn't go over last week. We were just showing you how to interact with scroll bars, tables, and the vertical splitter. If there's any other questions, we can cover them tonight, or you can send an email to support at stirredup.com or info@ttjtech.biz.
A couple of years ago, I think, you had mentioned when you were making keyboard commanders that you did use one other like command or control key just because you knew that it wasn't being used for anything. Which one was that, and what did you use it for?
Do you remember what I used? What the commander was for?
No, but it wasn't the option key, and you said it was actually it was a control key or a command key.
I don't think it was a commander, because all commanders have to be used with the option key. I think it might have been turning on Do Not Disturb or going to the notification center, but I since don't have to do that no more because there's a built-in shortcut for the control center. Do not disturb you have to set, but the control center and the notification center both have built-in voiceover shortcuts. So if you want to go to the notification center, it's VOO, and if you want to go to the control center, it's VO Shift O.
Okay, yeah.
I think she's talking about when if you're going to set up like a keyboard shortcut in system settings.
Right.
The safest combination, I believe, unless it's changed, was Control Command and a letter, or Shift Control Command and a letter.
Yeah, because that wouldn't disable any voiceover commands.
Right.
And some of the Mac OS, like I wasn't even thinking. There used to be it used to be that if you press what is the F4 key on Mac OS with, if your setting is right, it would open the Launchpad. Now it opens Spotlight. So I wanted to create a Launchpad shortcut. Well, without even thinking about it, I did Command Option L. And what happened then is now I don't have my download shortcut. But for me, that's okay because I don't really use that download shortcut. So I just
right. And then the other thing with that too, Matt, is because me, and John all put our downloads in the iCloud Drive. There's really no point? I mean, because you can't
No,
set
we do
that.
Command Shift I.
You can't set that shortcut to go to iCloud Drive's download
That's
folder.
exactly right. So I didn't worry about it, but that's an example of why you would want to be careful with what you're doing if you go into system settings and make
exactly. Yeah.
But I think what you're talking about. But now that Matt brings that up, Control and Shift are not used with any shortcuts. Now, Command, Option, or not Command, but Control, Option, and Command and Control Command are. But if you use Command or Control Shift in any key combination, that's not a VoiceOver or Mac OS shortcut. I've never seen those be used together in sequence with something. So yeah, I used to use Control Shift N for my notification center, but since there's a built-in shortcut, I don't have to do that anymore. You are still able to customize it and make your own shortcut if you so choose, but why bother when VoiceOver it's already built in?
So I have a really good friend who loves commanders, and he uses the numpad. And the cool thing he said about that is that it's just single. You just tap like 5, and you can program it to do whatever you want. You don't even have to do option. It's just a single tap. So I was trying to think of I was thinking of there's a world of things I could do with just a single tap.
Well,
especially going back and forth heading, right, John?
Yeah, but Apple gives you defaults, but you can change them. So for example,
right.
Interaction is 7 and 9. I changed mine to plus and minus to start and stop interacting. So things like that you can change.
What's the shortcut to turn on the keyboard? Not the keyboard, but the numpad commander. Is there a keyboard shortcut?
Control Option Clear.
What's the difference between VO-O and VO-N? They both seem to have something to do with the notification center. But
there is a big difference, though. Yeah, there is a big difference. Do you want to take that, John, or you want me to get it?
No, you go. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you are using your Mac and all of a sudden you hear a notification pop up, and it's funny you'd ask this, Gary, because I actually told Cliff the other day that we ought to go and record this, and we were going to do it last night, and then I had a few other things to do. So we'll get there and we'll post that. But if you are using your Mac and all of a sudden you hear it say, reminders, notification, take out the trash. And if you listen, it'll tell you to press VON to open the notifications list, and you'll be able to then mark that notification, that reminder as complete. It's also like if you open a new app and it says notification, allow such and such an app to use your location, but you're like VO-houring around and you don't find it on the screen anywhere. Well, where is that notification? So when that notification pops up, imagine the iPhone and compare it to how when the badge or the banner pops up on the top of your iPhone and you can reach up and touch it and long press on that notification. That is VON on the Mac. That will bring up the notification that just displayed as a banner or what have you, and allow you then to go VO up and down arrow through the notifications in that list. When you find one, then you have to VO space on it, and it'll then bring you to the list of notifications from that app. So now, if you have like a reminder, it's going to tell you to get the actions menu. And that is VO command space. That's that context option. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see like mark as complete, snooze for an hour, dismiss notification, all those things. So it's notifications that are appearing in real time as a banner or what have you, and you want to get to them. And then VOO actually takes you to the notification center where unread notifications go after the banner goes away and so on, or other times like that. Or you want to work with widgets, that's also in the notification center.
I know there's the commanders, and then there's Mac OS commands that I don't really know much about. So what were those ones that you could set up with the shift and the control?
Well, you could set anything up with shift and control, but so you go into system settings, go to keyboard, and go to shortcuts, and then you want to go to application shortcuts, and that's how you set them up. You use them that way. Now, be careful though, because there's two different categories. You can have app specific, or you can have system wide. So, for instance, I have one in Mail where I do Command Shift. I forgot what it is. No, it's Option Shift S. And that saves attachments. But I have one that's system-wide where I do Option Control. I don't know. I don't remember. Don't quote me on what the key is. When I do it, I have to tell you. I'm gonna demonstrate it in the session coming up here. But basically, it it moves a file it gives you the command to move a file to a folder. But I set that universal for text edit, Pages, Keynote, any app that I can move a file to a folder, it works in it. So.
Oh, okay. So, and you just have to be careful what you're setting up because it will do what you tell it, whether you meant to tell it that or
Well,
not.
right. And you don't, I mean, again, if you don't care about what the other command was that you just did away with by doing it, like me, when I, did that with the downloads, that doesn't bother me for the reasons that Cliff and I already said. So I just kind of said, oh my, and then I just let it alone.
And the other key combination that never has anything assigned to it, which is why I use it a lot, is Option Shift. So Option Shift S, that's my save in Mail.
Right.
But I also use Option, I think it's Option Shift A is my move to command. So whenever I want to move something to a folder, I can pick that folder where I want it to go.
So the ones you definitely want to avoid are Control Option, because that's a voiceover. It's going to do something.
And Control Command. There's a few.
Or Command Shift, like Command Shift A.
Right.
Command Shift A, Command Shift.
And then occasionally Command Option, like the Command Option L for downloads. That's the one I.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
But Command, you said Option Shift.
Option Shift.
Option Shift is okay.
And Control
Shift.
And Control Shift.
Control Shift is all right too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you're on Windows.
That makes it.
I took John Panarese's course, and then now I'm doing this one, and I like kind of to have all the different.
That's the best way to learn. You want different perspectives because people cover different things and cover it in different ways. So that's always a good approach when you.
Thanks for everybody who joined us on More for the Mac Interactive, and anybody who's listening on the podcast. Remember, you can reach us at info@ttjtech.biz. MacForTheBlind.com is a great web resource for free and paid content, and of course, you can go to StirItUp.com for a consultation, free resources, and paid one-on-one training. Thanks for everybody who joined us, John and Matt, and we'll see you guys next time.